So today I'm going to be taking a look at this, the Ninebot Max. I'll be diving straight in and doing a ride test. I'll also talk about some of the differences it has over its predecessors, and lastly I'll race this against a car through the streets of Cardiff to see if this really is the best commuter's vehicle. Welcome back to another episode of STU'S Reviews. I recognise that I'm a little bit late to the party when it comes to this device. It has been out since September, but like my review on the Xiaomi M365 electric scooter, I wanted to use this for a longer period of time to try and work out if there's any issues or any kind of longevity problems. I mean, with the M365, there were quite a few issues that came about. The same with the ES2. So for me, I wanted to use this because this is by the same company. This is by Xiaomi / Ninebot. I wanted to see if this had any issues come out over a course of 3 or 4 months of use. So, with that said, let me talk to you about the ride quality. So what can I tell you about the Ninebot Segway Max? Well, this clearly takes its design inspiration from a combination of the ES2 and the M365, both of which I have reviewed, and if you want to see those, I'll leave a link in the description for you. But this is the spiritual successor of the two. It combines the best bits of both, if you ask me. This thing can go 15.5 miles per hour, which is relatively quick, but not the quickest in the entire world. To be honest, for most people who are commuting through things like cities, you don't want it going faster than 15 miles per hour, because if you do, you're going to end up hitting someone, and you'll probably kill them, and yourself. Now, I would say that it holds this speed quite well, all things considered. I mean, I am 98 kilograms, which is certainly on the upper limit of what this scooter should be able to carry. So actually, the fact it's still doing 15 now, it keeps on twitching over to 16 when going downhill a little bit. It's quite good, it's quite impressive, but that is down to the 350 watt motor on the back and just powering through and sucking from that large battery I'm currently standing on in here. I do feel like it could do a little bit more. I feel like it has a bit more speed in it. Now, the Xiaomi M365 and the ES2, both of which are kind of the spiritual predecessors to this particular device, both of those were not limited, but you could hack them and get them to go a little bit quicker. In some cases, up to about 5 miles per hour quicker. So, my question is, if you hacked this particular device, could it go quicker? I definitely think it could, because it just feels like it's got a bit more to give, but they've limited it. And it's understandable. I mean, a lot of regulations around the world are kind of like saying that you can't really use these past 15 miles per hour, which is fine, but then it should give you the option of turning that off in the software if you're using it on private roads like I am. Currently going uphill now, and it's only dropped to 12 miles per hour. So it does pull up hills a lot better than any of its predecessors. It does a very good job. If you're looking for something that can pull up hills, this is a pretty good option. What's very strange about the motor is that it's on the rear wheel. Now, this isn't quite that normal for scooters of this sort of type. Most scooters have a front wheel drive. Now, that doesn't matter too much, but I have found myself, when going off, say, curbs or going over bumps, if I'm accelerating and leaning back, I literally pull a wheelie driving forward, and it's actually quite scary. You do lose a bit of control when it comes to that respect, but do you know what? It doesn't make that much of a difference. That rear hub is an electronic brake, as you can tell right now. I mean, I'm going downhill, I've got my finger on the accelerator, and I'm going no faster than 16 miles per hour. That is because it's limiting the speed, like I said it would earlier. The fact it limits your speed going downhill is a huge safety bonus. It means that you aren't going to lose control, but even if you do start to lose a bit of control, you still have a mechanical brake, which is a drum brake on the front wheel. Now, this is a bit weird because obviously I've never particularly liked electronic brakes that much, but in a sense, if it was to malfunction and the electronic brake was to jam on midway through my drive, I wouldn't be thrown over the front like other models potentially do, because they've got an electronic brake in the front. This has a mechanical brake in the front, so when I press the front brake, both the front brake and the rear brake go. And you can see how quickly I stopped, even though I was going downhill at about 16 miles per hour. Bit of a squeak there, actually, from that drum brake on the front. So the braking system is very, very safe. I think what I would definitely say about this ride is it's super, super safe. And it's super comfortable as well. The tyres are tubeless, so it means that there's quite a lot of cushioning in there. And also it means that you're not going to get punches very often, or as often, say, as the Xiaomi M365, because that is a bloody good thing, because the M365 was an absolute nightmare to change the tyres, or change the inner tube anyway, and anyone who has ever done it, I would say about 90% of people will agree that it was the most difficult thing in the world. It was ridiculous, and I'm so glad that I don't have to do that with these tyres. The wheels are also big as well, they're 10 inches, which makes it a very, very comfortable ride overall. It's not one of those kind of smaller wheeled scooters that kind of feel absolutely every single shock going through the wheels. This doesn't have that, so it's actually very, very comfortable. Talking about the bumps, that was one of the big things with the Xiaomi M365 that caused it to go wrong, and the ES2 as well. Well, this doesn't feel like that. It feels like a very solid built device, and I think it really seems to take all the bits of those that are good and put it together into this one scooter. This really is basically a better fusion of both of them. If I was to summarise it, this is not for the thrill seekers. It's not going to get your adrenaline going or get you to where you're going particularly fast. There is only one slight concern about this scooter, really, is that it's marketed to the same type of people that the M365 and ES2 was, those that are commuting. Now, straight away, I'm going to tell you that I think this is possibly one of the best scooters for commuting I've ever tried, and I'll discuss more about that in a few minutes. But it's heavy. It's 18 kilograms. That is very, very, very heavy. A bag of sugar weighs about 2 kilograms, so that's 9 bags of sugar you've got to carry around if you're, say, getting on public transport. So, that is something to consider, that it does weigh a hell of a lot more than something like the ES2 or the M365, and largely that's down to the size of the battery, because it can go for 40 miles, whereas the others can do about 15 miles before they start to die, or less really if you're fat like me. There really isn't a lot to fault about this scooter. It's a fantastically designed product that just seems to tick nearly every wish box for me. It's absolutely the love child of the M365 and ES2, both of which are some of the most popular commuter scooters to date. But does the design changes and improvements mean it's the best commuter scooter? Put it this way, the Ninebot Max has a hell of a lot going for it. Among the changes, my favourites are the handlebar, which is more refined with its integrated bell design, and is also taller, which makes it suitable for a bigger range of people. I love that the light is more powerful and larger than its predecessors for use at night, and the rear light is fitted into the new mudguard that's welded to the frame to minimise breakages that plagued the M365. The electronic brake might be limiting, but the combination of the front drum brake makes it super safe, even when going downhill, unlike the ES2. Perhaps my favourite upgrade has to be the integrated power unit, so that you only need to carry a small cable to charge it on the go. Although the upgrade to the folding mechanism makes it 1 billion times stronger than the M365, and therefore a lot less likely to kill you. That's a pretty good upgrade too. For these reasons, I believe it could well be the best commuter scooter available, and perhaps even the best commuter's vehicle, full stop. So to put my money where my mouth is, I'm going to race Ash into Cardiff Bay from here in Llandaff to emulate a sort of commute, if you will. Let's say you live in one of these lovely little vicar's cottages and you work in the Bay. I want to know which one's faster, the Ninebot Max or the Audi TT. Now, I truly believe that Ash is going to win this race, but it is a very, very, very even race. It's about 3.7 miles, but obviously Ash can take a few shortcuts through things like parks and stuff and go at an average speed of 15 miles per hour. Of course, this can do 0 to 60 in less than 6 seconds, and it's 170 odd brake horsepower, but there's a big problem in the fact that I'm going to have to deal with lots of traffic. So, you ready? Let's get started. 3, 2, 1.
I literally have no idea where I'm going.
Right, the biggest problem, like I said, is going to be able to get through all of the traffic of Cardiff quicker. I mean, I can go average much faster than him.
It's a bit bumpy. Jesus, this thing is fast.
Oh my god, come on!
Oh,
there is one big bonus of the method that I'm currently doing, and that is that I'm nice and dry, and Ash is not.
As always, while doing a shoes review, I end up getting wet through in a ridiculous costume.
Oh, right now I'm in the 20 mile per hour zone, so I literally can't go any quicker.
I'm going to go in the cycle lane.
There are many other benefits to commuting with an electric scooter. One, you're using electricity rather than diesel, which is killing the environment.
Right, where's the signs at? Cardiff Bay, Cardiff Bay. Can't help but feel like I've taken a wrong turn.
We'll just stop moving, and Ash will be able to continue moving. Doesn't matter what, he can just carry on going because he's not going to get stopped. Unless he's getting stopped by the police.
Stu, if I get a fine for riding this thing, it's coming out of the Shoes Review's budget.
And we're coming onto an A road, so the chances are we're actually going to win.
What is this annoying whistling in my helmet? It's like, whoo. That sounds kind of cool.
Now that we're on an A road, I can put my foot down.
I think I'm good. I'm right by the Cardiff Stadium. It's not far from here.
Have I? Yeah. How long has that been there for?
Come on, come on, come on. Let's get across this road. Let's get across this road. All right, we're making good time, I think.
Right, we're coming into Cardiff Bay now. We're just on the outskirts.
I really need to hurry this up because I think he might be parking right about now.
I'll just pull in somewhere quickly. Right, come on, come on, come on.
I'm trying to see if I can see him in the car park. I can't see him. I can't see him. I think I've won. I think I won.
That's it. We're here. Where is he? He's not around here, is he? Oh. Oh God! You look a bit wet, mate. If this had been on a rush hour peak time, you'd have won hands down. Of course, you'd be not quite as having a nicer journey as we did, but if this was a sunny day, it'd be beautiful. But alright, I stand corrected. Maybe this isn't the best commuter's device I've ever seen. Have a look at that. I'm nice and dry, and Ash is not. Now that we're back in the studio, let's talk about the price. So this sits at £750 ish. You can get it a little bit cheaper depending on where you look for it, but as always I'll leave a link in the description below so you can take a look at this for yourself. But in terms of comparing that to the other items out there, you look at the M365, you can probably get that for around 300, maybe £350. Likewise, the ES2 is a similar sort of price range. But then I think, okay, fine. This is a lot more expensive, but it is a hell of a lot more vehicle. It's faster overall, can handle heavier weights, is more comfortable, has a lot less issues, and can go a lot further with the gigantic battery on the bottom. So I cannot stress that, okay, this has a higher price than the M365 and the ES2, and actually it has a higher price than the M365 Pro as well, but for me I think it's probably worth the extra money. Overall, this device has exceeded every expectation that I had. I think I came into this expecting to have certain problems over time or certain issues. Nothing has arisen that has caused me any real form of concern. It is just a wonderfully made device, and I cannot stress enough how good this is. And if you are looking to buy a scooter that is in the price range of £400, my advice is just don't. Save your money, save a couple more months and get something like this, because the improvements this has over the predecessors is just worth every single penny. Like I said, things like this here at the back, this being kind of welded onto the actual frame itself, means you're not going to get any breakages. This front mechanism over here, this is much stronger than anything before, so it's really safe. It's got mechanical brakes as well as electronic brakes. It's just a super device. But for me, and this might seem completely inconsequential to everyone out there, my favourite feature is the charger. That is the charger. It's just a cable and a plug. It's great because all the previous generation stuff comes with stuff like this. Gigantic power bricks, which if you're commuting to work and you want to charge it at work, it's just a bit of an awkward thing to carry around with you, whereas this is just something very, very small, very, very simple, that can go in your pocket. Might be a bit uncomfortable, but it could still go in your pocket, whereas the other one, you had no hope of doing that at all. But that, to me, is one of the best feature upgrades. That and the wheels. The wheels are superb, the tyres are brilliant, and the fact that they are tubeless as well. Look, if you can't tell, I absolutely love this scooter, and at the moment, for price versus quality, this cannot be beaten. And that concludes my review of the Ninebot Max. Guys, if you liked today's video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe because it will really help me out. And as well, I want to say a massive thanks to all my current patrons. You guys are incredible. I couldn't do STU'S reviews without you. Other than that, guys, thanks very much for joining, and I'll see you back for another episode of STU'S Reviews soon.
That's the worst bell in the world. Thank you. What is that? That is the worst bell in... Is it just wet? Oh, it's just wet. Okay. Oh no, my hand's on it. Actually, that is the worst bell in the world. My God.